Hey, what's up everybody? Getting ready to do a little dash repair. What I'm probably gonna do on this is use the old dash. I've looked at getting one offline. A lot of them are back ordered, sold out, or very expensive. A lot of the comments, when I look at what people have done, a lot of the comments are I should have used the old dash, had to make some modifications to the new one, etc., etc. So what I'm gonna do is use the old dash and go around now. I've got it sitting in place where I want it, and I'm gonna do some trimming. I'm gonna kind of get ready to overlay this thing with fiberglass and all the stuff I gotta put on top to make it right. It's gonna get covered eventually, but I just need a nice smooth surface that fits really well to work on top of. So let's get going. Let's trim this thing up and see what we can do. So this edge, it's kind of high, it's kind of raised up a little bit. So I'm going around, I'm gonna trim that edge back and try to make it a nice taper, because I've got to put several layers on this. I want to make sure I can get it close to the windshield when it's in there for the final time. But I'm gonna go and trim this thing. We'll cut out the speaker holes, just kind of fill it out as far as where we want everything. Cut a board and put under there to set this dash on, because we want to keep it nice and straight. We don't want to have a curve to it and fiberglass that thing together and have a permanent curve. So we want to support that nice and even. A lot of these cracks are raised on the edge, so we're going to try to get rid of that. We'll either break the plastic away, sand it down, or whatever it takes. Glue seems to sand off pretty good, so I'm going to probably sand over this whole thing and try to knock that old glue off. Pretty rough looking. I've got to go around and decide what I'm going to do on the speaker grills, or if I'm even going to have any. I may need to cut all this out. A couple of decisions to be made. I've never done a dash like this before. I believe what we're doing is creating a shell over the whole thing and giving us something with some structure, some rigidity to work on top of to get it as smooth as we want. We're gonna take some fleece, stretch over this thing, glue it down, staple it so that it stays, and then we'll apply some fiberglass resin to that to give it some strength. Then we'll build on top of that with a layer or two of the fiberglass mat. And that should all give us something structurally sound to work on top of. We'll work a little bit of body filler on top of that and then prime it. Most likely I'm going to cover this with the same material that goes on the seat and the door panels, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but the smoother we make it now, the nicer it's going to come out in the end. So let's put some fleece on this thing. try to work one side at a time. All right, our fleece is on there. Now I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna staple in here to that'll help make the lines crisp, and it'll keep it from lifting when I fiberglass it. So let's go ahead and run some staples around this thing. So I'm just going to keep working my way around with the stapler around all these holes. I'm probably going to come back and cut these cross pieces out, but right now I'm going to leave them in there because they're giving me a little bit of strength to this back piece. So once we get all this glassed in, we'll probably open these up. So the fleece is on, glued down, stapled. I think it's time to put some fiberglass resin on it. See how that turns out. All right, we got the fiberglass resin on there. We're gonna let it set till tomorrow, and we should be able to sand it down, put a layer of fiberglass mat on top of this. Kind of liking the shag look. So it's the next day. All this stuff is set up pretty good. What we'll do now is sand this whole thing down with some 80 grit, try to get it a little bit smoother. And then we'll apply a layer of fiberglass mat to it. And that should give it a little more strength. All right, I sanded this thing down with 80 grit. Looks like I need to hit a few more spots. But I'll run over that and then we'll start laying some fiberglass mat on top of this, glassing that in. Have I mentioned that I hate fiberglass? The next time I say something stupid like I'm gonna work some fiberglass, have I mentioned that I hate fiberglass? I need to just walk away. Never again. That's a pain in the ass right there. We'll be doing a lot of trimming on this thing. Trying to go around these things and get it to stick. That ain't happening. I had to wrap it. It's full of air bubbles. I get done with this crap, I'm out of the fiberglass business. Well, it's the next day, it's set up, and it seems what I've created is a cactus. Can't touch this sucker without something sticking you. So I'm gonna get some gloves on, get some tools out, start sanding down everything, trimming up all the edges that I left rough. See if this thing is worth salvaging. I really just want to throw it in the dumpster. It's really windy today. I'm gonna put this thing outside. Hopefully it'll keep the dust off of me. Put an old paint suit on. Try not to go home itching to death. It's gonna happen no matter what. I'm gonna get out here and sand on this thing, see what I can do with it. Did I mention fiberglass sucks? Got it ground down, shaped up. Stick it in one more time, see how it fits. See if there's anything overhanging we need to cut off or where we're at. Probably didn't mention this, but fiberglass sucks. Getting close. Gotta fix a few spots by the windshield. I've got to get my moldings in so I can see how they're going to fit. My vents. Still a lot left to do. We're a little closer. Remember, kids, don't try this at home. Need to just walk away.